because you came here from IGN to IGN from New York, and I'm also from New York.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Mid-Hudson Valley.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, what was your experience coming all the way from New York over here to San Francisco to work for IGN, and what's it been like since you've come here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fine. I mean, I was a freelancer for many years before I became an editor, and I actually interned here when I was in college. So my first foray out here was a summer staying with Fran Mirabella and Chris Carl and Mark Ryan at various times on their floors or their couches. I was 19 at the time, and that was like a really great eye-opening experience for me. So that kind of prepared me to come out here and make the quick decision to take the job or whatever, because when I had graduated from college, I was ready to go to grad school, and I was going to start grad school that August, and I got the job offer in that June, so I just came out here like immediately, and I think I was more comfortable than maybe I would have been had I not come out here first. But it's been fine. We have a lot of guys from the East Coast. Clements is from Albany, not Albany, Buffalo.
Awesome.
Buffalo. And
wait, where are you from again?
Long Island.
Long Island. Oh, Bronx. Yeah. So I also came from the East Coast.
We have somebody from Chicago. Who's from Chicago? You're a Chicago person?
Greg's from Chicago.
Yeah, Greg's from Chicago as well. We have guys from all over the place. So not everyone's a California native that works here. And, I was young and naive, and I'm still somewhat young and naive, I guess. But but I think that's why I came out here. So I got the job offer and came out here like literally. I was probably here like about 10 days later or so. Yep.
What's your criteria when looking for someone to join your editorial team?
It's probably best for Casey to answer that question.
I mean, experience and having something to say. I think the biggest benefit would be to have a point of view that's very tangible, meaning like if I read something or one of us reads what you write, we know it's not, from any of 100 other writers out there. So, have your own voice and write in a memorable way. And whether that mean your opinion's memorable or your style, the art and the crafting in your writing, whatever it is, I think that's the best thing you can possibly do, is to make yourself memorable. And that's what I'm constantly telling our staff too. I mean, it's a challenge for all of us, so for sure.
I think the other thing worth mentioning there, from the recruiting point of view, is that the way a lot of these guys got hired isn't how we hire anymore, right? So the path may have been like straight to editor for some of them. Now it's much more common where we do some freelance or try things out, or maybe have a temporary assignment for a while, and then it moves into a full-time position. So if you're applying regularly on the website, that's great. We want your stuff in our database. We look at those things. They go through them regularly. But there are other paths besides just straight to full-time, right? So maybe you guys can talk about that and developing relationships through freelance.
For sure. I mean, we produce content. I mean, the beast that is IGN is hungry for content. I mean, if you look at what we produce on a daily basis between news, previews, features, reviews, videos, and everything starts with an idea. So if you have a great idea, you pitch us, and it seems like something that could work, you'd be surprised. We have a lot of people who are freelancing for us now who weren't 3 or 4 months ago. So that's definitely a great way to start. So.
Isn't the wiki and my IGN also ways that you just get out there and get your name known and
absolutely, yeah,
providing free content unsolicited to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're one of those people that plays a game and you go into every single room and you open every single chest and you look under every single bush or whatever it might be, and you look in our wiki guide and there's nothing written about XYZ, we definitely notice when there's people who contribute heavily and with high quality. In fact, Colin, you started in like GameFAQs and writing guides.
Yeah, I was a GameFAQs kid hardcore when I was in high school in the late '90s, and that's how I got found by IGN. I mean, it happens in different ways. Like I was writing NES facts, and they asked me to write strategy guides for freelance when I was a freshman in college. So that's how it all began. So yeah, I agree 100% with Casey. It's about getting out there and writing and doing the hard work and what might seem sometimes menial or unimportant, but like that's a step in the right direction.
The other thing to remember too is IGN's a massive company, and we have a relatively, by comparison, small editorial pool, but we have a video team, we have a design team. I mean, there's a lot to do at IGN, so it's not just about, I have to become an editor or I can't work at IGN. I mean, you're walking around, you're seeing everything that goes into creating what you guys see, and a lot of times it's easy just to think, there's 20 editors and those are the people at IGN. That's just not the case at all. It wouldn't run if we didn't have engineers and designers and artists and sales. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So
we have close to 400 employees.
Is that globally?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's not in this office, right?
No, this office
we have about 250.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
200
We have
globally.
mentioned their
Yeah.
offices.
crazy.
But we have an office in London. We have an office in Australia.
Montreal, LA, New York, Chicago.
Singapore.
I saw your hand was up before.
As a gamer, coming on this tour is pretty exciting so far. Like I said, as a gamer, I can't see myself like not playing games anymore. So what is the eldest employee that works here?
Maybe, well, the company's been around for 15 years now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Pear and Tao, they've been around, I think, since from the beginning or very early on in the beginning. So there might be some people who are more behind the scenes that have been here the whole time, but I would say probably 14 to 15 years. Yeah. Pear's been here 18 years.
Yeah.
So since before the company began.
Yeah, he was here when we were 3 different websites and a magazine and all those kind of things.
In fact, we actually just hired Colin Campbell as our head of news and features, and he's been in the business for over 20 years. He used to work here when IGN was sort of spun off from Imagine, who previously just made magazines, and IGN was this big experiment to create a website. So, and he had after that gone on to work all over the place, but now he's back. So.
Yeah, and it's great to have him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is one of the most experienced people in the business, so it's definitely good to have him. But yeah.
Oh, me?
Question.
Yeah.
Did you have your hand up?
Me?
Yeah.
I did want to ask a question.
Oh,
but
okay.
I can wait.
Okay.
Okay.
This is
question number 3.
yeah, this is a me question now. Okay. Like I told Ryan, my sole reason for buying a PS3, I don't care. This is for the question for the PlayStation House, guys. My sole reason was to buy Kingdom Hearts 3. Now here's a question for you guys. If you have a favorite game that came for the PS4, but IGN would not let you buy it, we're not going to buy PS4, guys, how will you react?
We would go out of business probably.
Good. And are you Kingdom Hearts fan too?
Oh, no, he is.
Really?
Not me. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's
I hate Kingdom Hearts. But it's awesome. So
Yeah.
it's not.
How can you hate Disney then?
I don't hate Disney, but Kingdom Hearts is different than Disney.
It's so Disney.
But we don't need to talk about Kingdom.
I'm just kidding. Okay, go on.
Why do you really specifically focus, like, you advertise that you're just focusing on men?
Oh, that's a great question.
Casey.
Yeah, because I made that up. So for the record, I started in July. I think as a business model, for years and years, the demographic of gamers and people who consume this type of media is that, male 18 to 35 year old person. But obviously, we've seen, especially even more recently within the last 5 years, those demographics widely shift. You're seeing, a 50-50 split. So if you notice in most of our editorial content, we're not skewing towards one or the other.
It's just like everywhere it says specifically like for men, for men.
And I
I'm
can't-
like, well,
So
It's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
So-
It's
separate
totally
view
perfect.
on that too from the sales department. So I mean, we're a network of different properties, right? Most of our revenue comes from advertising. So that's speaking kind of on the sales side too. Of when our sellers are going out and selling ad space on our sites, that's the difference we're obviously going at. But I think we do reach a lot more people.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah,
goodness,
I mean,
for
I know
sure,
you
yeah.
reach more, but I think that's
Yeah.
just like,
From an editorial standpoint, just so you know, like our focus is to serve gamers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anyone's gender or
which is why I
orientation
think it's
or
weird
interest,
that
whatever.
it
It's
says
just
that everywhere. I'm like, why can't this
yeah.
be
Well, if you
different?
notice, most of that type of branding is going to be found on the corporate side, so which does have strong ties to advertising. On editorial, we're here to serve people who play games. So.
And one of our editors is a woman too, so don't forget about that. It's not like just
Just one.
We've had lots of female editors. Just right now, one of our core editors. I mean, one of our guides, gals. There's one right there, Stephanie.
yeah. So
I was kind of wondering how that affects anything that happens in house. I mean,
For us, for the creation of content on the editorial side, for what we do for gaming, it doesn't. Sometimes it'll skew a little bit with entertainment, which actually isn't run out of this office. It's in LA, and those are the people that handle movies, DVD, Babeology. That's none of that's us. So
It's a good question, though. Thank you.
yeah.
I noticed on the recent post on Facebook that a lot of the major studios out there are actually out of business, going out of business this year. Does that actually affect you guys, or negatively, or is it okay?
when a game developer goes out of business?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean a lot of game developers have gone out of business actually this year, which is sad. We just actually wrote a story about that. I think.
That's what he said.
Yeah.